Welcome back for another video. The most anticipated series on this channel is back for 25-26, the Expert Series. It's my pleasure to welcome 265 top managers for this season. It's the biggest it's ever been. So what makes them such good managers worth paying attention to? Well, this series has got minimum rank requirements to be involved, and it's roughly twice as stacked as last year. Between them, the 265 have finished in the top 10k 620 times, top 1k 58 times, top 100 in the world 5 times, and we've got one FPL champion as well. Every game week the experts are asked who are they buying, who are they selling, which chip are they using if any, who are they captaining, plus we look at the experts template team. And I put all the data together and this is the output. This, without fail, will help make you a better manager, so hit subscribe, we don't want to miss this one over the season. A quick thank you to Whitebeard FPL for calculating all the rank histories, and to Premier Fantasy Tools for providing the manager tracking. Let's begin. So, we're doing it slightly different for the Gameweek 1 edition of course, and we're going to go straight to the player ownership across all their teams, and for this opening video of the season we're going to split it into each position as well. So there's 3,975 players that have been picked in their teams. Who are the most owned ones by position? Goalkeepers first then, and there is a clear template combination here. It's Dubravka 88%, he's number 1, and it's Sanchez 55% owned in number 2. Beyond that it's Sells 17%, Kelleher 13%, and Verbruggen 10%. It's just been reported that Chelsea have got no interest in Donnarumma, who's going to be leaving PSG, as they're happy with Sanchez, so that's really encouraging as well. Chelsea have got some of the best fixtures to open the season, and he did really grow as the season went on last year, keeping 6 clean sheets in fact in the final 11 games. Dubravka is yellow flag currently, but he's still our best bet for a playing 4-mil keeper. How about the defenders then? So Esteve has emerged as the favourite 4-mil defender, rock solid centre half, and he's got Sunderland home in Gameweek 2 where you could play him even. Beyond that, it's Leeds home in Gameweek 8 that you might consider using him. If you don't need him for Gameweek 2, then it's actually worth having a look at the Leeds defenders for 4-mil as well, so Bior, Rodon and Goodmanson. Bior should be nailed after Gameweek 1, he's just suspended for the first game week. The markets are actually backing Leeds to be a slightly better defence overall than the other two promoted teams. So Williams is the second most owned, 43%, Van Dijk 41% and Murillo 39%, who's going to be an absolute beast for defensive contribution points this season, based on past seasons. So how are Liverpool actually going to get on then with new fullbacks and this sort of evolving backline? It's interesting to see if Van Dijk does still live up to his past points over the years. No Arsenal defenders in sight despite how well Gabriel and Saliba have done in recent years, and only 2% had Raya as well, which is so surprising when you consider their consistently good defensive record. Who's going to keep the most clean sheets then? Well, if we look at the opening 10 game weeks, Arsenal are actually fairly ahead in first place, and then it's Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. Graphic here is from Solo Analytics. This is really helpful to help paint a picture of how to consider setting our defences up. So Burnley do sit rock bottom, Leeds in 15th, so a little bit ahead, and going back to my point earlier on the Leeds 4-mil defenders. Broadly speaking, their fixtures are a little bit better for the opening 10 as well. So Karaj makes a list, 11% owned. I'm actually expecting him to have a really good season in a now more settled Maresca side that should only improve overall, especially given the new arrivals. Porro could be on for a great season as well. In theory they should improve at the back on how they were under Ange, and with Maddison out long term with an ACL injury, we should see Porro taking some corners. 31% own him, best clean sheet odds Gameweek 1 as well. So who are the most popular 4.5mil defenders? Well, it's Van der Ven, and then it's Juve, Konsa, Anderson, Richards and Takaipa. We're kind of spoiled for choice with defender options this season, and we're going to see a lot of those mid-table defences pick up lots of extra points through DCs. Midfielders next, and have a look at this. Palmer, the most owned player in the game, he's also the most owned players among the experts, with 93% ownership. Salah comes in second with 83%. Third place really underlines the major tweak to strategy this FPL season. It's not like any we've had before. It's Anderson in third, who literally just scored twice last season and just the 6 assists. We never would be looking at him in past years. He was an absolute beast for defensive contributions, as you'll see in a minute. We'll analyse that. So Verts versus Bruno is unbelievably close. We've got 47% ownership for Verts, 45% for Bruno, so that one really is almost a coin toss. I didn't expect to see Reinders so high up the list. He's in just over 1 in 4 experts teams. Of course, he finished pre-season really strongly, which is what caught a few managers' eyes when he got a brace after coming on at half-time. Almost got a hat-trick, and he should be nailed on for the start of the season, but you never know with Pep for certain. So Ndiaye is the favourite 6.5 mil mid at 25%, Sarr 16%, Kudus 10%. Everton's new rival Dewsbury Hall, only 5 million, and he sits in 12% of teams. Infinitely better than any 4.5 mil midfielder currently, if you can find that 0.5 million anywhere. He played as a 10 in Everton's final pre-season game, and he's on corners as well. We'll have to, of course, see how Grealish fits into their attack, given Ndiaye will probably play down the left like he did last season. So, yeah, perhaps Dewsbury Hall drops deeper and Grealish plays as a 10. Lastly, the forwards then, and it's Watkins at 83% leading the pack. It's Mark Yu on 62%, João Pedro 39%, Strand Larsen 25%, and Bowen 17%. Really different price points being hit there. They've done a stellar job pricing all the players this season, haven't they? We've never had a season quite like this one in my view. 9% own Thiago, but Brentford are now reportedly in for Callum Muendo, who's a highly rated striker. We'll have to see if that one happens or not. That could pose a problem to Thiago's minutes longer term. By the way, if you'd like the complete and very long list of all players and all their ownership percentages across all experts teams, I've just added it as an article on the Focal app for members, or go to fpl.page. So, we keep banging on about defensive contributions. What actually are the fundamentals? This is a 1-minute refresher. So, players can earn 2 points per game from them extra. They can't get any more than 2. Defenders need 10 DCs to get 2 points. Midfielders need 12. Defensive contributions is a broad term, also known as CBIT, and that stands for clearances, blocks, interceptions and tackles. So that's what they need: clearances, blocks, interceptions and tackles, and it's the total of those. So let's say Murillo's got 5 clearances, 3 blocks, 1 interception and 1 tackle, then he's hit the 10 required and he's going to get a guaranteed 2 additional points. Recoveries also count towards the total for midfielders, though as I say, they need 12 rather than 10. The idea basically was to make defensive mids relevant for FPL as well, and defenders just got better as well. This table here shows which defenders would have earned the most defensive contribution points last season, and it was Tarkowski that did best with 44, Murillo 38, Lacroix 35, Collins 32. It is a bit of a juggling act because of course these guys don't have the same clean sheet potential as the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, because yeah, since they defend more they earn more DC points. Van Dijk, in fairness, would have earned an additional 22 points last season. That's not bad. Sorry, this is definitely longer than a minute. So as far as overall points, Milenkovic would have been last season's top scoring defender with 178 points, and then Murillo with 169, who played one fewer match. That is worth mentioning. And quickly, what about the midfielders then? So it was Caicedo that was top. He got the 12 required on 21 occasions for 42 additional points. So that's huge because he goes from 98 points being a dead FPL asset last season to a pretty respectable 141 points. Anderson, also 5.5 mil, did really well, 36 additional points for him. More goal involvements than Caicedo as well, which is why he was so highly owned among the experts. It's largely the cheap defensive mids that are getting them. Besides one man, look further down the list there, Bruno Fernandes with 22 additional points. And that also explains his very high ownership. And they're not put off by that Arsenal fixture Gameweek 1. The tables that I've shown you here are courtesy of Fantasy Football Scout, who recalculated all player points last season, and they've provided that as an additional member benefit on top of everything else. Use the link below to get 40% off. The chip usage slide just became more relevant now that we've got double of every chip this season. It's going to be great to see many different chip strategies. You're going to get so much value out of this series over the season, so make sure you are subscribed if you're not already. 12% of the experts have activated their bench boost for Gameweek 1. Jason is one of those. He's got some incredible rank finishes to his name and he has shared his team with us. It's Sanchez, Conso, Van de Ven, Murillo, Van Dijk, Rice, Wirtz, Salah, Palmer, Anderson and Bowen. And on the bench it's Verbruggen, Perrault, Strand Larsen and Wan-Bissaka. Here's what Jason had to say. We're back. Since launch, I've been steadfast in wanting to get the bench boost out of the way. As many will attest to, the absolute worst chip in the game. Oscar, dare we even mention Big Dan Burn on the bench boost last season? The risks of playing it straight away are obvious. It works with limited information and having funds tied up on the bench can lead to a weaker 11 overall. However, a 10 to 12 point return is something I'd happily take straight off the mark, and I wouldn't expect a huge difference in whichever week I use it. Also, I won't need to hold back funds or compromise transfers for the rest of the first half of the season on my bench. With there also being fixture swings to come for City, Liverpool and Newcastle, I can focus purely on having the strongest 11. So squad breakdown, Sanchez remains as a standout 5mm option for me, despite Cole's injury, as an entry point into an underrated Chelsea defence with great long-term fixtures. With there being no viable 4mm for Gameweek 1, reluctantly I'm paying an extra 0.5mm on Verbruggen on the bench. Defence, for me, has been the trickiest position to nail down this season, having to get up to speed with DEFCON. The new rules directly benefit Van Dijk and Murillo greatly, with both currently in my team. Van Dijk brings clean sheet potential, set piece threat, good long-term fixtures, while Murillo's Forest have looked solid in pre-season with good fixtures to match. I'm looking at a three-way 4.5mm goalkeeper rotation at present with Konsa, Van de Ven and Wan-Bissaka, though this is still subject to change. I think he said goalkeeper there, he meant defender. Midfielders, I haven't even tried to entertain a no Salah draft. He and Palmer are non-negotiable for me. Wirtz versus Fernandes is the biggest debate in my team, but I'm currently siding with Wirtz, playing for the league's best attack. He's looked electric in pre-season. I think he's going to hit the ground running. Anderson's another DEFCON favourite of good fixtures. Rodgers' injury has forced me to go down to the 6.5, so I'm not hugely enamoured by them at present. Currently on Rice, but that could yet be Matoma or Sarr. And then up front, budget is tight up front, but Bowen feels criminally overlooked among engaged managers. Despite the positional change, he's still West Ham's talisman and he can return against anyone. Strand Larsen's opening game is tricky, but I like the subsequent fixtures with the potential benefit of pens. Perot is a short-term pick for Gameweek 1 and he could change if I find an extra 0.5mm. Overall, Watkins and Bruno are the two players I'd love to find a way to get in, but I can't fit in at present. Other than that, I'm happy with this bench boost one side and the team going forward. Best of luck all. Thanks for sending in, Jason. Best of luck on the bench boost. Captaincy up next. Who are the top managers going with for Gameweek 1? It's a pretty one-sided opening to the season with Salah on 83%. He's never blanked in Gameweek 1 in his 8 years at Liverpool. Can he keep the run going? He's home to Bournemouth as well, who are definitely in transition at the back themselves, with Kepa, Zabanya, Howson and Kirkis all gone from last season. It's Palmer on 8%, 6% Haaland, Wirtz 2% and Bowen 1%. So what do FP review projections say? Well, that's got Salah top on 7.9%, and then it's Palmer 6.6%, and then it's Haaland, Pedro Porro, Wirtz and Marmoush. Onto the experts team next, and we're going to look at this every week all season. It's the 15 most owned players across all 265 teams within budget, and the team is Sanchez in goal, it's Williams, Van Dijk and Murillo in defence, Palmer, Salah, Anderson, Wirtz and Reinders in midfield, with Watkins and João Pedro up front, Dubravka, Van de Ven, Esteve and Mark Gu on the bench. This draft's actually got 0.5 million in the bank as well, which you might find a suitable place to spend it. It's a bit of a waste to have Van de Ven on the bench, so you could upgrade him to a 5mm defender, or you could go Williams to Pedro Porro, Reinders up to a 6mm midfielder, etc. Maybe even a premium keeper over Sanchez. Another place you'll get a lot of value this season is the ownership column. So we've got experts ownership, overall ownership, and then the difference between the two. So which players are the overall player base sleeping on that the experts love? Those are big opportunities because we're looking at data from 265 very select top all-time managers out of probably about 10 million managers by Gameweek 1. Like Watkins, for example, he's 62% higher owned among the experts. Dubravka 61% higher, Anderson 45%, Bruno 28%, Murillo 34%. There's a lot to unpack here, so do pause and rewind to any parts of this video if you need to. Finishing up with the final thoughts and tips, which we do every game week to get some valuable insight from these top all-time managers. Just over 100 of them sent in some thoughts, so I'll add them all to that article I mentioned on FPL.page in the Focal app if you'd like to read more. I've got a select few here, let's go through them. FPL Spoon doesn't like the Gameweek 1 bench boost and says, picking players who are guaranteed to start is key for Gameweek 1, and avoiding new signings, especially those new to the league, it rarely works out well. The use of any chip in Gameweek 1, specifically the bench boost, is too risky given the unpredictable lineups, form and fitness. So yeah, interesting that we've got really different opinions on chip strategies. We'll see how the bench boosters get on next week. Ken says, need to see whether Dubravka's available for Gameweek 2. Gakpo might be better than Wirtz. Evan Nilsson's fixtures are not good in Gameweek 1, but afterwards very good for attacking, and especially might be the penalty taker if Kluivert's still out. Milko Jovchev makes a bold statement. He says, no Salah is very tempting to me, as I genuinely believe that he wouldn't be worth the 14.5 mil price tag in the new attacking setup of Liverpool. FPL USA Brian says, after a 533rd overall rank last season, there are so many unknowns heading into Gameweek 1. I originally was going bigger at the back for a 4-4-2, but I've now funneled the usual money into the tantalising midfielders. I really want a piece of both Liverpool and City attacks, but it's tough to nail down the right ex-mins mids under Pep with a limited pre-season. I'll surely change this lineup 5 times before the Gameweek 1 deadline, but it feels so good to be back. And lastly, FPL Sis says, another season, another cup brimming full of anticipation, another mediocre year guaranteed. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. See you soon for the next one.